nasty and as painful as it is, the only way through pain is actually through it. Sani bonani, molweni, dumelang. Lebitso la ka ke Mosa wa Kgatebo Bongano Mthimkhulu Kantselo Uzikode. Aiwo. Musho. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning Savi, thank you so much. If you haven't, please do take the time out to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. If you are into holistic healing, herbalism, and self-development, you have come to the right place. This is a platform where I share the knowledge that I have on these three things, and just spreading knowledge and love and wisdom, hoping that you guys apply it in your lives as well. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get into today's topic. Today we'll be talking about grieving, healing, loss, mourning, and inner work. I've been thinking about this topic for the longest time, and it's only fitting that I do it in winter, especially today. And just share my my experience with grief, healing, and navigating my way through doing inner work. So I don't know why we have been wired to think that sadness is not natural. Sadness has been associated with being low vibrational. Sadness and anger in particular have been associated with low vibrations, so much that when we feel them as human beings, we want to get through the process or through the emotions very, very quick. And we don't speak about how hazardous it is rushing the emotions as opposed to sitting and processing it. I mean, it's very hazardous, I know for a fact. Personally, I am one to rush through healing, and I don't want to sit in pain and feeling sorry for myself, right? So much so that I haven't really been able to get over grief. I don't even think that you can get over grief and loss like that as a human being. But I realized that I had work to do, that I need to process my grief and my loss earlier on this year, because I have been sick 3 times, right? And this wasn't a mild flu or a cold, but at some point I went to the doctor. And this is when I realized that grief and you not being able to process your grief can actually manifest itself in your body. This is your torso, this is your chest area, this is your heart and your respiratory system as well. So I experienced illness. My lymph node would swell up. I couldn't eat at some point as a result of me refusing to acknowledge my loss and deal with my grief, right? And prior to that, I remember when we were preparing to lay my grandmother to rest last year in July, during the preparations, I felt my chest attempt to cave in. My chest became tight and I'd struggle to breathe at some point. I didn't know then that it was my body's way of trying to process the pain and trying to process what has actually happened, right? And I remember it being such a very dark place to be in, and It was such a dark place to be in. I mean, the amount of pain, more especially when you've been through so much as a person. I've been through so much prior to my grandmother's passing that I couldn't understand. Like, I couldn't handle the pain anymore. And at that point, I did not want to hear how awulehlanga lungehlanga, this too shall pass. Umuntu nje bekazama ukungiduduza, bekangisanganisa impela ngifuna ukuqamba manga. And I did not even want to hear how healing is not linear. I didn't want to hear none of that. I just wanted to sit and be. I didn't know how I wanted or how to get out of this dark place, but all I knew is that I'm in this horrendous place and I don't know how to get out. So me not doing my inner work and grieving, finding a way to grieve, really put me in the gutter. Okay, it really put me in the gutter. And having lost my grandmother last year, my brother earlier on this year, I forgot how to speak to myself. I mean, which is very understandable. I mean, dealing with loss back, well, in a short space of time like that, really does something to a person. I forgot how to speak to myself, and I took the smallest things for granted. For a while, I couldn't tell myself that things are going to be okay. I couldn't be kind to myself. I just moped. I just moped, honestly, and I forgot to tell myself that things are going to be okay, that you can take things a day at a time. Your effort will look different on a daily basis and you will get out of it. So speaking to yourself is very important, and what you say to yourself is even way more important. So be kind to yourself and extend yourself grace, that I somehow forgot to extend. So inner work has a lot to do with your childhood experiences. Inner work is where you try to heal your experiences, or come to terms, rather, not necessarily heal, but come to terms rather with your experiences. Heal if you must, and in the process we try to heal our parents' experiences too. It's insane how I realized I had so much healing to do after my pregnancy, right? I mourned my old self, and at the same time I was trying to show up and make sure that I keep my daughter alive. It was so insane, and this is something that's not spoken about in the Black community much, that the person you become after pregnancy is, or how to mourn your old self. So how do I deal with all of these emotions? I ask myself this question daily, and little did I know that was the beginning of my inner work, because inner work is literally you asking yourself difficult questions, right, in order for you to move forward in life. And the longer I asked myself this question, it hit me that you need to accept that your life looks this way right now, and this is how it's going to be moving forward. So acceptance, and me not being resistant to change, because being resistant to change actually causes me pain, causes me a lot of pain. So that's how I got my answer. Accept ukuthi izinto or isimo sakho sempilo sesihlukile manje. umam, and you can no longer do a number of things that you would do before you actually fell pregnant and give birth. So my advice is, do your inner work. Inner work will save you from so much. Not only will it save you from so much, but it will reveal so damn much about yourself. Asking yourself difficult questions, you will realize, why do I react the way that I react to certain situations? Or why do I respond the way I respond? Why do I always fight? Or why am I so timid? Why do I avoid confrontations? Or why do I avoid fights at all costs, right? A simple task is you evaluating your love languages. I mean, if we look closely and we look clearly enough at love languages, we can see where wounds actually stem from. They stem from our childhood. I'll tell you now, doing your inner work is not pretty. It's not pretty. I don't care who says what. It is not pretty at all. It is painful. It is painful. You are digging up old wounds. You're trying to get to the root cause. You're exposing wounds, right? But funny enough, in all this, I realized how beautiful and phenomenal the human brain is. The human brain tries to shield us from pain. It suppresses old memories that caused us pain. And it makes you forget certain experiences. It's such a blessing and a curse at the same time. You have to experience discomfort at some point in your life. I mean, this is life after all, right? And grief requires you to slow down. It also requires you to have compassion. It requires you to extend yourself some grace. While inner work, on the other hand, it has to be done, but inner work requires a different approach. Inner work requires tough love. It requires tough love. So yes, that's my opinion. Both are different, therefore the requirements are different. So because I know my herbs and I am an essential oil connoisseur, I have drafted a list of herbs and essential oils that will help you navigate your way through grief, and will help you come out victorious while doing your inner work. I love you guys, and I want you guys to make it through the winter, into the spring and the summer of your life. So here's the list. Coming in at number 1, we have lavender. So lavender is a plant a lot of us actually overlook. Lavender smells good to some of us, and lavender has healing properties that, such as promoting sleep. It relieves stress as well. You can get this as a plant or an essential oil. As an essential oil. If you're going to go to therapy, see a therapist rather, you can also try aromatherapy. It does wonders. We need to work on all our senses as human beings, and you'll be shocked what aromatherapy, or the amount of healing that aromatherapy can actually do. Coming in at number 2, we have roses. Roses have been around for as long as human beings have been around, and I suggest that you get pink or red. You know how color plays a role in the emotions that we feel as well. Yeah, you should know that. You should know that there's healing in color as well. So yes, the red will be resembling, will resemble the heart or the intense emotions that you are feeling. So you can get the actual flower, like I said, or you can get the essential oil, and that can also be used as aromatherapy. I'm losing my words. As aromatherapy, like I had mentioned with lavender. So yeah, get roses plus the easy. Coming in at number 3, we have Mother Worth. So I will put the picture up here of what it looks like. So Mother Worth helps with combating anxiety, and it beats the blues, right? So grief is known to bring up anxiety in some people as well as the blues, and this is one herb that helps you beat that too. This can be consumed as a tea, and yeah, you can use it, you can combine it with other herbs or a rose petal tea as well. Coming in at number 4, we have hawthorn. Now I remember we had hawthorn in abundance in Soweto. The last time I saw a hawthorn tree, I was in Alberton. I'll put a picture here. The fruit is yellowish, a yellow to an orange tint on the inside. It's bitter and sweet at the same time. Please let me know in the comment section if you remember what I'm talking about. So remember how I spoke about grief targeting your chest? This is your heart, your cardiovascular system, as well as your respiratory system. So hawthorn helps with this. So you can consume this herb or the fruit in tea form, and yeah, it will definitely help you heal. My grandparents had a hawthorn tree, I remember. They did. Also look at the color, it's red. So this herb will actually tell you a lot. So yeah, number 4, hawthorn. Coming in at number 5, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we have lemon balm. I'll put the picture here. It looks similar to mint leaves, or spearmint as they call it, right? So this helps relieve anxiety. You can take 3 of the herbs that I've mentioned, combine them and consume them as a tea, each targeting a different problem, right? As opposed to you just taking one. Coming in at number 6, we have the mimosa tree or the mimosa plant. It's very popular, and it plays a huge role in Chinese medicine. It can be used as a tincture, or you can have it as a tea. Again, I'll put the picture right over here. It's a beautiful pink. It makes me feel so feminine. Also, look at the color, right? It's pink. And oh yes, we have a different species in South Africa. It is yellow. I'll put the picture up here. It looks different, right? It looks different from the one that is commonly used in Asian parts of the world. But however, it's still used for grief and for the heart. And another fun fact about the mimosa tree is its ability to adapt in very cold conditions. Remember what I spoke about with adaptogens, how a plant's ability to adapt to certain conditions and thrive is actually an indication of the amount of beautiful work that it will do for you. The mimosa tree being able to withstand cold conditions just spoke to me in a different way. Remember when we were doing poetry in high school and you were asked what's the theme of the poem, and how oftentimes it would be winter, and winter is associated with death and a person being able to do inner work, right? Or a person being stripped of certain things and being bare. Just think about it. Think about how poetic it is, or at least that's my thought right now. So yeah, those are the herbs. Those are the herbs that I know of that you can incorporate in your healing process. And yeah, that brings me to the end of today's video. Before I go, please remember that herbs are meant to help assist you, right? The herbs that I gave out are meant to assist you through your grieving process. You also need to do the work. I know it's not pretty, but the only way for you to get through pain is for you to go through it and endure it. As nasty and as painful as it is, the only way through pain is actually through it. So yeah, guys, that's all that I have for today. Whoo, I've said a mouthful. But yeah, until we meet again in our next video, I hope it will be light and funny to a certain extent. Until we meet again, please do remember that to love yourself is to heal yourself. I'm out.